So LVO is going to start in a few days here. It's actually next week. I'm I'm pretty excited about going. I mean, actually, I had mixed feelings because it had taken me such a long time to find what game I wanted to play. But we're kind of all in on Kill Team now, especially since I gave my other two tickets for War Machine and Blood Bowl away. But that said, I'm still deciding 100% what I'm playing. So for me, it's either between my Corsair Void Guard or Blades of Khaine. And I'm still leaning more towards Blades of Khaine. Blades of Khaine is super fun. They're considered a pretty bad team by most of the, we'll say, more knowledgeable kill team players. But I think they're really just exciting to play. Um, I complain about rules bloat and overcomplicating a game, and the fact that Blades of Khaine has what amounts to about 23 different firefight ploys is kind of hypocritical, but it's also in my nature too. So I'm really enjoying the idea of playing an underpowered quote unquote team with really interesting mechanics. Uh, my favorite thing about Blades of Khaine is that the learning process was really interesting too, because you start off, if you buy either the Blades of Khaine kill team or Salvation, really you only end up with about a third of the team. And according to most people, it's the worst third of the team, and that is a full striking Scorpion team. But I played the full striking Scorpion team, which gives you access only to 5 of the 15 warrior powers, but you get to use them up to twice per turn. So what's really cool about that is you can focus on just what striking Scorpions do, and you can specialize on just what striking Scorpions do. And you learn that mode of combat. You learn that sort of sneak around, attack someone, get out. You also learn how to do infiltrate ops, which are not considered the easiest ops, but very fun nonetheless. And then you kind of learn the basics of the team. Yeah, you have 8 models with 3 AP, and that's pretty strong, but the models die pretty quick. And striking Scorpions still don't have their patented 3+ save, so you're going to get shot quite a bit if you are not playing it sneaky, and your damage output doesn't spike quite as high as, say, the Howling Banshees. You do, however, get some pretty good Warrior Exarch options, and all 3 of the Warrior Exarchs, I think, in the case of the Striking Scorpions, have a place. So if you do get that full box, what I would recommend doing is pick your least favorite of those three options. In my case, it's the biting blade. It does have its place, but I don't see myself using that Exarch as often as the other 2. And what you do is you model the other 2 using the Exarch bodies, and then the third one, you just kind of model that onto a regular Scorpion's body. And you can still kind of make it look like an Exarch. It's kind of like a downgraded Exarch, but that's what you end up doing. And then you have 7 regular Scorpions. That's the best way to kind of one team box it and still have your options, at least for Exarch. I think for striking Scorpions, the one you go with most of the time is the Power Claw and Chainsword. Just the most versatile of the 3. But I also really, really like the dual Chainsword, dual Shuriken pistol. It's just super reliable. You're still going to do a fair amount of damage. Maybe not the best into some of the tougher elite teams, but still very useful. And I find myself fielding that one quite a bit when I go with the Striking Scorpion Exarch. So what you do, what I would recommend doing is, if you buy that box, if you start that way, just play pure Scorpions for a couple of games. That's really how I learned more Kill Team, was just playing the pure Scorpion team for a while, and then slowly adding in the other two factions. So I peppered in a couple of Dire Avengers, and I peppered in a few Banshees. Banshees really kind of changes the team because that's, in my opinion, that's where you want to be most of the time. Is you want to be 3 Banshees, because that will give you the access to the recon missions, which is really where Blades of Khaine is going to shine. So I like to go at least 3 Banshees, sometimes 4, but it's going to be mostly 3. And then one of those Banshees may end up being the Exarch, depending on what I'm going into. And really, for that Exarch, it's I really like the Executioner, which is, it's super nice because you get to keep lethal 5 and you're spiking at 7 damage, and the 7 damage crits are so nice on the Banshees, especially considering some of their warrior powers, where you get to, say, just play off a crit and then you can get a free dash out of combat, or a free reposition, 3-inch reposition out of combat. That's super nice. It should remind you of like the Harlequin curtain calls type of move, but the Banshees can do it once per turn, or even twice if you go full Banshees, and you can dash out and shoot, similar to what like the Harlequins do, but you're not paying a CP for it, which is super nice. So Banshees are really kind of, they're really strong into the team, so I always go at least like 3 Banshees. And then I always like to have 2 Dire Avengers. And I know that there are times where you will want more Dire Avengers, but the way I play it, I tend to stay towards 2. Um, I find myself not using quite as many of their powers, and that's probably a player preference. I think the Dire Avenger powers are excellent, but I find myself really only using a couple. The lethal 5 is nice. I use the, obviously, shoot on the move is a super powerful thing too. Every once in a while, you might need to you know ignore your own injury status, or you may want that torrent, especially if you're in Gallow Dark, that you may want to have torrent as well. So there's some options and some play there as well. But again, I just really like Blades of Khaine. They're super fun. They're a stronger team if you really have a good grasp of the warrior powers, and you know how to effectively trade models, and they're super fun and fluffy, right? I just really like Eldar aspects. I've been a fan of those for decades, and so I'm really excited to play this team. I don't have really high expectations going into LVO and playing like actual competitive players with this type of team, but it's going to be fun anyway. I'm super excited for it. Let me know your thoughts on Blades of Khaine, and I'll talk to you on the next one.